Alright, so it's time to get started on our squash. I've got my spaghetti squash and I've got a butcher knife. Look out! I'm going to start by cutting the ends off. You don't have to, I just find it easier to manage. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down the middle with my butcher knife. The butcher knife is nice because there's a spot to rest your hand. There's my workout. That was intense. Okay. So now that we've got that cut open in half, I'm gonna take the guts and spoon those out. I love to roast squash seeds. It is my favorite snack this time of year when squash is in season. So what I'm gonna do is, as I'm taking the guts out, I'm going to scrape them into this bowl, and then later I'm going to put them in a wire mesh strainer. I'm going to rinse them, I'm going to rinse them and coat them, spray them with a little bit of olive oil, and toss them with some salt and pepper and spices, and bake them in the oven, roast them in the oven, just for like 15 minutes. So, yeah, so a lot of times I'm inspired to make these videos by people in my life, and a lot of people have been asking me lately how to do various things in the kitchen, which I take as a huge and I don't think I've actually ever made spaghetti squash before. I make butternut and acorn all the time. This is for my brother. He and his girlfriend Tahiti, they were talking about, my brother Mick and his girlfriend Tahiti were talking about how much they love spaghetti squash when they were here visiting me a few weeks ago. So this one's for them. I'm making it. Okay, so that's a half a cup of water. This is just a glass baking dish. I'm going to put it in the oven with the potatoes for 30 minutes, and we'll see what happens. We don't waste any part of the vegetable around here. Here's the seeds, rinsed and cleaned, sorted through. Just gonna let them dry out a little bit here so that they don't pop too much in the oven. And it took me about 5 minutes to rinse those, so not too bad. Hi, welcome back. I'm just stirring my gravy. I turned it back on because the squash is done and it's almost time to enjoy our little pre-Thanksgiving warm-up meal. So the squash ended up taking about 40 minutes in the oven at 350. I think my oven needs to be calibrated. It's probably a little slow, but it's the same test as you can see as I did with the potatoes. You stick the fork all the way in it and it comes out. I mean, it pokes through really easily. So this is nice and done. Now, from what I understand, one of the fun things about this kind of squash are these little spaghetti pieces that you get. So I'm going to carefully try and scoop them out. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm just going to scrape it from the skin. It's really easy. Oh, it really yields a lot. Should have gotten a bigger bowl out. Oh, look at that! That's so cool! I love it. That's so awesome. Oh, wow, this smells good. Okay, so those are scraped pretty clean. Now I'm going to toss my spaghetti squash with a couple tablespoons of olive oil. That's 2. We'll see how that does. And then this is a teaspoon of black pepper, about a teaspoon of sea salt, and then I'm going to say that I put in here about a half a teaspoon of Eau de Provence. It looks like spaghetti! That must be why they call it spaghetti squash. Okay, I'm just gonna give this a little taste. It's really good. I'm gonna leave it as is because it's very light. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. It doesn't have a real strong flavor, but I think that's awesome. I think it's perfect just how it is. So I think that's ready to go, and it's very light and perfect. All right, so everything's ready. Everything's put together. I'm just gonna plate it all up. So I'll be right back. Okay. So I'm missing something green right here. My meal does not seem complete without that. So I'm going to steam some spinach, I think, really fast and throw it on there. Maybe I'll make myself a light spinach salad. And then I'm gonna eat dinner. It all looks really great. Let's give what I made here a little shot. I already tried this. So good. And the Eau de Provence, it's gonna go really well with the sage and onion gravy. Because they both have those hearty winter flavors to them. This is great. Okay, my family is gonna be happy. I think yours is too. So as you can see, these side dishes separately aren't very difficult to prepare. And I was able to, while everything was in the oven baking, I was able to do some work on my computer for a half an hour and bang some things out. So it's really nice when you have meals like that separately, a little bit of prep, some time in the oven, and you can get other things done around the house, and then they're on the table and they look great and they taste delicious and they're good for you. So those are all of the important things that we like to look out for here in Kat's Kitchen. And hopefully you guys can make these simple vegan recipes at home and bring them to your Thanksgiving feast, or just incorporate them into your regular rotation. As you can see, none of it was very difficult to put together. So thanks as usual for tuning in. There's a lot more recipes, including a full Thanksgiving menu on my website, katshotcakes.com. And I also have some great pumpkin pie recipes on there, as well as applesauce cake, which would be really nice paired with your Thanksgiving meals. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.